As we move into the home stretch of the ABC Squared project, I'm watching some of you now get creative with where you're placing ABC and what other elements you're using, and I am not suggesting either of these. I just want to remind you that there are tools here that can help you, particularly the Shape Builder tool. Now, let's just recreate these. Let's make a new layer and turn this layer off. Now, you know that if you grab the rectangle tool and you draw a rectangle. I'm going to undo that, Command Z. I've got a black fill and no stroke set up. By default you've got white and black stroke, a white fill. So if you click and drag and hold down the Shift key, you get a perfect rectangle. But what if you want a perfect rectangle that's a particular size? Let's go ahead and hit delete. You take the rectangle tool and just click, and let's just say I want it 100 by 100 pixels, and click OK. Now, I also want to position this in a particular area of the artboard. I want to be able to use some simple math to do some simple things. So, your transform panel should be right here. I've got a little link here. I've also got it right here. First of all, it starts with the registration point. Where is the registration point? I'm going to put it in the upper left-hand corner. And I guess I should back up and say the artboard tool also has a registration point, and I put it in the upper left-hand corner. Now, back to our rectangle right here. So if both left-hand corners are the 0, 0, I know I can get it into that upper corner by typing 0 into the X and Y. Easy, right? Okay, so I want to zoom in here. Spacebar for hand tool, spacebar and command key for the magnifying glass. And I want to zoom in to about, right about there, so I can see what I'm doing. And now I want to move this square over and leave about 5 pixels. Not about, I want to leave exactly 5 pixels. Now I could draw another one and do that, or I could just double click on the black arrow and say I want to move this horizontally. I know it's 100 pixels, so if I move it 105, hit tab, make sure that's 0. Distance is 105, perfect. Preview by default, I don't know if this is on or off, I think it's off. I turn it on and then click copy. Hey, and then Command D for do it again, right? Now we want to move downward 105 pixels. So we double click 105, but this time vertically. Now is it 105 or minus 105? Well, only one way to tell, huh? So we do that. Hit tab and you can see, oh, it is 105. We just could have added the minus if it were working in the other direction. But this is 0, 0 and it's moving upward in either direction. I know, your math class. No, but the y-axis goes negative in this direction. Yeah, I know. If we made this bottom corner the 0, 0, we could have done it there, but we would have had to do minus to go upward. Oh, so confusing. Click OK, and then, Command Z. I didn't have copy, did I? We don't want to do it that way. 0, 105, and click copy, and then Command D. Now, how big is all this? Well, we could do a little math and say, hey, it's 310 because 105. There's 2 5s here, there's 3 hundreds. But if we highlight all of these in the transform panel, and again, you're going to have this because you're on a larger computer, you're going to see the width and height. There it is, 310. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom back. I'm just going to go to 100% just so we can see all this, and then go down to the ellipse tool. And again, you can draw an ellipse, undo, you can hold down shift and draw a perfect circle and undo, and then resize it, undo. But why not just click? And what was this? 310, you say? You remember that? 310, tab, 310. And now I'm going to put that right over the top of this. Now there's a couple different ways we could do this, but let's just remember that changing, if I get into transform again, we'll use this one because it won't be in the way. This one would have covered up our circle. We can change our registration point. What's half of 310? Well, break it down. Half of 300 is 150. Half of 10 is 5. 155, right? So if our registration point's in the center, we can go ahead and double click 155, tab 155 to place it perfectly in that position. Now, and you say, Scotcho, that's not helping. Well, Illustrator has tools, right? Spacebar command. I want to zoom in, and I want to zoom in right about, I want to account for this. So now, hey, look, isn't it cool when you know how to work? You're not clicking and moving stuff around, taking the least steps possible. I want to make sure everything's selected. I'm going to click and select everything, and I don't expect you to remember Shift-M for the shortcut for the shape builder. Just click on it. That's fine. Now, the shape builder combines different elements as you move over them, and look, that all becomes one shape. I want to undo because that is not what I want. I just want this stuff in the center. I don't want this big square. So if all this stuff is combining, how do I take away? Well, handy dandy Option key. Oh, look at that. It changes the plus to a minus, and we just move right around this circle and click, or we can click and drag to select more than one at a time. That guy's going to be all by his lonesome. And we do that, and click, click. And now what about these guys? Well, click and drag straight through. Don't go down here. Just go straight through. Let go, and it gets rid of all of them at once. Now, when I click and click, look, I only select one. What if I want all of these selected? I want to move them together. Well, group, object group, Command G. Command G, you should know Command G by now. You should be using Command G and Shift Command G to group and ungroup all the time, right? Command G. So now, there we go. We got this. Oh, and I did not have to click and drag across them. I could click anywhere, and then Shift Command G if, for some reason, I wanted to move something independent of itself. What is this? Why is there something underneath there? A residual shape. Aha, isn't that interesting? What might that be used for? Well, I will leave that for your contemplation. And remember, we Shift Command G, so I'm going to group this again, Command G, and then what if we made this 500 pixels width and height? Whoa, what happened there? There we go. Then we can move this over here and just, whoops, helps if that panel's not in our way, and drop that there. So now, the other trick we did, I'm going to click and just click, let's say 500, 500. So now we have a square, that's 500 pixels. Whoa, sorry about that. Hit V for the move tool, the black selection tool, the black arrow in Illustrator. And now, and I know you're thinking, hey, we could just draw with white, but we don't want a white circle on top of this square. And yeah, we can intersect. We can put this right in the center. We can always align as well. We go 500, 500, click OK. Oh, look at that. It went down there because our registration point, remember, is up in the upper left-hand corner. If we look at transform, or it's in the center, excuse me. So it was, this circle is drawn. So this and this are aligned perfectly. So easily remedied. We just take these two, make sure we're aligning to selection, and then center. Vertically and horizontally. It didn't matter because they're the same size. We could do it with align top as well. And then now we're just going to use that same trick with the shape builder tool. Hold down Option for the circle in the center. And there we have it. And again, you have individual elements that are movable. that you might find some use for if you're very clever. I'm going to group that, and then we can just align these two and drop those out, and now you see we've got that and pretty easy. Now I know, when are you going to use either of these? Well, there may be a time and place. And how might this work with text, you ask? Text. We'll be right back.